I'm a third generation realtor. I am 10 years in the business. My passion is teaching and speaking. I've built my business model on that. I've also built my entire business model from two books. My entire business model is based on 7 levels of communication by Michael Mayer. And the rest of my business model is based on the real estate Bible, which is Millionaire Real Estate Agent. All right. And shift because we're in a shift. So if you're not sure how to build a business plan or how you're going to do business, you can pick any of those. I am a luxury agent. I've always been in the top 1 to 3%. I average no less than 50 million a year. And this year it should be more than that. And if you are local in Broward, I am currently building out a 5,000 co-work space that will be open and brokerage agnostic to any agent. And Kevin, I believe we have some events coming up here in the space too, because I am in the Fort Lauderdale area.
Yes, I actually have a final date for you to agree, but I'll talk to you about that later today.
Okay, awesome. Well, so the personality style, like I specialized when I got into the business and we didn't want to cold call people per se, but I had no problem doing luxury expireds and literally door knocking on $10 million homes, not knowing anything. For some reason, that sounded like a better idea. And then I built my entire business based on open houses. And then my number one source of business the last few years is agent to agent referrals. What does that mean? Well, I've been traveling and speaking and teaching for many years. I average about 60 to 80,000 in additional coaching and in trainings that I go to. You have to invest in yourself. We're 1099 independent contractors. And if I had to guess, we got into this business for freedom and flexibility. Am I right? Got into business for both freedom and flexibility typically. So what happens is when we are in the business for freedom and flexibility, we tend to forget to treat it like a job, right? Just like it's very apparent to see that a lot of people don't know what their volume is going to be this year, which is unit count versus what their gross commission income is going to be. That's called an economic model that's in the MREA. 7 levels of communication is the book. So it's important to know where what you want to do. And it's not about selling real estate, it's about following a schedule. So understanding the profile will completely change your game. I promise you. It will change the game. And so what do I mean by that? So and I guess by a quick show of hands of the ones that are so kind to put their video on, how many of you have ever walked out of a conversation thinking, man, I said all the right things and they still didn't sign? Yeah, we've been there, right? And so typically it's going to be why. Like, so today is not about personality test. It's about money, trust, and influence. Because most deals are not lost on price. They're lost because the conversation missed the person. Okay, so hear me. I'll repeat that for you. Most deals are not lost on price. They're lost because the conversation missed the person. So DISC is not about like labeling people. It's just about listening faster. So high performers, they don't talk better. It's they adapt faster. And the best part is you don't need to change who you are. You just need to change how you communicate. Okay? So for the most part is I would I'm going to ask you a question and I'll give you the question too in the chat. I'm going to give you some visuals as well. And I want you to hear me on this question I'm going to ask you because this is a question that I ask the majority of all clients. And I have other ways to be able to really determine their DISC profile without talking to them and really easy strategic questions to be able to get when you do talk to them. Okay. So don't overthink this. Answer from instinct, not logic. Okay. So I'm going to ask you the question first. Please listen. And then I would like for you to tell me what your answer is in the chat. Okay. If your best friend, spouse, or coworker had to best describe you out of one of 4 ways. Now, majority, you're going to relate to all of them, but which one would be the one that your best friend, spouse, or coworker would say it best fits you first? Okay. Direct and straight to the point, social and outgoing, steady and dependable, or cautious and perfectly accurate? Which one? Direct and straight to the point, one. Two, social and outgoing. Three, steady and dependable. Four, cautious and perfectly accurate. Social and outgoing, direct and straight to the point. Andres, I heard you had cautious and perfectly accurate. I know we have more answers than that. I can't help you if you guys don't tell me what disc profile you are. Direct and straight to the point, social and outgoing, steady and dependable, or cautious and perfectly accurate. Which number are you? Put it in the chat. Okay. I'm surprised we don't have more twos, social and outgoing. Yes, fours. We always have a few high C's. So the way that that works is, and I will go ahead and add that question too, for which one it is. And so this is what it looks like. Direct and straight. If your best friend, spouse, or coworker had to best describe you in one of four ways, which one is it? This first one is D, direct and straight to the point. I is social and outgoing, which is majority of realtors. Steady and dependable is an S, and cautious and perfectly accurate is a C. Okay. I am a high I and a D under pressure. Okay. I have my world has to operate with S's and C's. Okay. And that's why, and well, I'll be able to show you how we can kind of go through that for the most part. So this is why conversations break down. So direct, that's the D, social is the I, steady is the S, cautious is the C. None of these are good or bad. They are just different decision filters. So D's, and I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm going to show you, Kevin, I have a share screen, right?
You should have the capability.
Okay. So this is called the discovery. Let me just present this. So here's your magic question that we just went through. So feel free. Also, when you see a flamingo, think of me, because I love flamingoing with you. The discovery poem is probably one of my favorites. We want to care like everyone's an S, like everyone's steady and dependable. We want to smile like everyone's an I. We want to prepare like everyone's a C, cautious and perfectly accurate. And we want to sell like everyone's a D. Who can tell me what would be a second question that you can ask that you would know exactly what personality type that person is? What would be the easiest way in our industry to determine what type of personality type somebody is? Think about it. What do we sell? Houses, yes. So, what would be a question based on how they would answer it would tell you everything you need to know?
Pre-qualify.
Yes, pre-qualify. And in the pre-qualification, yeah, a CMA almost, but there's a question that I'm looking for that is a question we would ask during a pre-qualification or while you got a sign call or while you got a seller appointment or how you got a buyer consultation and you ask them a question.
Would you please describe your home for me?
Yeah, that's what I was
How
looking
long will
for.
it take? Well, yeah.
Yep, amen. So would
What
you
price?
please describe your home for me? Right? Describe your home for me. So Simon, since you have an idea, let's role play that real quick. If ask me to describe the home for you.
One more time. Your voice cut it
Ask
off.
ask me to describe the house to you.
I mean, what? I'm sorry.
We're gonna role play. Ask me to describe
Okay.
the house to you.
Okay. So let me ask you, Tara, so if I see you, how much do you want to list your home for?
Well, I'll be able to know that pretty soon. However, ask me to, I'm the client. You're the
Okay.
realtor. So I want you to ask me, describe your home to me, Tara.
Okay, so Tara, could you please describe your home for me?
Well, it's 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. We have a pool. What else do you want to know?
Oh, great. So, and any specific details in your home you could tell me I could bring to attention of the buyer?
Everything's online. You'll be able to see it
Yeah,
yourself.
because you know if you
I'll
go
see
to
you Friday.
details, yeah. Okay, all right.
Yep.
So,
What disc profile am I?
so you are, if you go into detail in explaining, you are high personality.
Yep. Correct. I'm at high D in that aspect. Nadira, I would like you to ask me to describe my home to you.
Hi, Tara. How are you? I would like, I want to sell your home and I want you to please describe your home for me.
So we have 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. We have this really big kitchen island. We love to entertain. The kids always have their friends over because we have this really big backyard. And I just planted these really pretty flowers too. You've got to come over and see it. What personality type am I?
I think two.
2? Yep. A social and outgoing. Okay. Is it Nadira, ask me again.
Same question.
Yep.
Hi, Tara. I would like, can you please describe your home for me?
So we have 4 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms. We have a roof that was just put on. It's a metal roof. It's from 2023. It has a 50-year lifespan warranty that is transferable. I have a 3-ton AC unit that is a 2018, but the condenser is actually a 2015. And the pool was just re-diamond brighted by American Pool Company in April of last year specifically, and we're 5,232 square feet under air.
Definitely 4.
Yes, cautious and perfectly accurate. Ask me one more time because this one's the hardest.
Okay. Tara, please, can you describe your home for me?
So we have 4 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms. We just put on a brand new roof in 2018. I know that we redid our kitchen. I don't remember when exactly and who did it. I need to double check with my husband.
3.
Yes, steady and dependable because they're always going to need to get another opinion from somebody else to validate what they're saying because they
Okay.
don't want to be wrong. They're dependable. Okay. So that would be the easiest way for you to ever be able to determine what type of disc profile that they are. The other types of ways of how you can determine what type of personality they are is going to be how, like, for example, we use a free service that is available to us that is free for Florida realtors, and it's also to help keep us safe. What app is that?
Forewarn.
Yep, Forewarn. Thank you very much. Forewarn. So Forewarn, before we're going on appointments and meeting with strangers, we use Forewarn, and we also should be Googling them. We should be looking them up on LinkedIn, Google, ChatGPT, social media, and everything else, and especially Forewarn for safety reasons, right? What information could I possibly get from Forewarn that would help determine if I never had a conversation with them, what type of personality type they are?
Where they've lived,
Where they live could be one. What would be something else?
career, what their
Career, ding, ding, ding. Career, and also I also can see a switch in the type of cars. Even their type of cars could tell you like who they voted for. Okay, let's be real. Okay, you could literally figure that out based on their type of cars. Okay.
What about like citations?
Yeah, I probably will tell me if they're like what type of activities they have. Like if they have a lot of speeding tickets, they're probably high I or a D because they don't have patience and don't want to wait.
True.
So for example, CEOs and doctors are going to be a what?
one, direct and
Yep,
straightforward.
D. They're going to be high Ds typically, right? So the way that we communicate to different personality types is based on what they are. We have to adapt. I'm not saying for you to be fake at all. I'm saying that you have to adapt to the type of personality type that that other person is. So the sooner that you can recognize what type of personality type that they are, the better and faster that you can be able to adapt and prepare properly for that appointment in order to crush it and take it. Okay? Because that's the goal, right? And to be real, if you didn't go on an appointment today, what did you actually accomplish? because real estate is a contact sport. You are in the business to make contacts, right? So if you want to sell 100 homes a year, you need to be doing a minimum of 35 contacts a week. Okay. If you want to sell, actually, I'll give you my metrics for that as well right now while I'm thinking about that. If you just, there's nothing wrong. If your goal is to sell 5 houses this year, there's nothing wrong with that either, right? Your business is your business and your goals are your goals. Not everybody needs to be a crazy overachiever like I am for the most part. However, for the most part, depending on if you want to sell 100 homes a year, you need 30 to 35 contacts a day, 5 days a week. That's 150 contacts per week. If you want to sell 50 homes a year, you have to consistently have 15 contacts per day. If you want to sell 25 homes a year, you need to make 7 contacts per day, period. I put that in the chat for you too. Those are metrics, not metrics that I made up. That's just the reality. So how do you know how many contacts you're making? Well, you need to track it daily. You're the CEO of your own business. So if you don't track your numbers, tell me an owner of a company that doesn't know what their inventory is and what the pipeline is going to be for how the consumer is going to take away the inventory before I add more investments, right? So in order for you to be able to know those things, you need to start tracking it. So what is qualified as a contact?
Anybody you spoke with?
Anybody I spoke with that's a two-way conversation about real estate.
About the real estate.
Yep. Anybody I spoke with a two-way conversation about real estate. If I call an expired and they tell me to go screw myself and they hang up on me, is that a contact?
No.
Yes.
No, technically. If you're not going to have any conversation with them at all, then no, I wouldn't. However, I do like to track my no's versus my yeses. I don't look for the yes. I look for the no's because you need more no's to get the yes. Does that make sense? Like you need to encourage and embrace the rejection and the no's, right? There's a saying that I use all the time that is, some will, some won't. So what? Next. Right? That's my 5-second funeral when I get a no. Okay. I am still back in the game for, I probably have, I don't know, like I know in order to hit my metrics, I can't have less than 10 listings at a time, right? I'm carrying, but now that properties are sitting a little longer, I need at least 14 listings at all times and 5 in the pipeline in order to actually hit my goals monthly and weekly and yearly. Okay. So that's just knowing what your holding cost needs to be. I didn't mean to go down that tangent. However, I feel like this room really needed it. So when I say that a contact, it could be a phone call, a written text message, a video text message, email, direct messages on social media, you're targeting doors, you're circle prospecting, you're doing open houses, you're doing social media lead gen, you're direct messaging on LinkedIn, whatever that is that has a call to action and you had a two-way conversation with real estate. That's why I truly believe in wearing your name badges when you're out, because you want people to talk to you about real estate, whether you're pumping gas or picking up your dry cleaning or in the line at Publix, because real estate is a contact sport. Okay. I'm sorry.
Where do you recommend getting a badge?
I actually am going through this drama hardcore with that right now because I used to use Recognition Express out of Vegas and they closed down, and my name badges have my pink flamingo on them too. And they were sparkly and pretty, and I don't know. So if anybody can help me figure out a new company, we don't have an affiliate and we've been using them for 20 something years and I don't know where to get it. New pretty name badges. So
okay, if I run into one, I'll let you know.
If anybody else, try. I did try Etsy, but it still wasn't like the same. While we're on that topic, please star this, note this. Name badges always go on the right side, y'all. Name badges always go on the right side, not on your heart. Why? Because when I shake out my hand and I introduce myself, I only have to look directly above my arm where we shook hands. Even if they're a lefty, you still shake hands. And you're 78% more likely to remember my name if my name badge is directly where my hand shakes versus the other side. Okay, that's just a public speaking tactic That is like Toastmasters 101. Just figured you guys need to know that for the most part. All right, let me dive in. Let me share my screen and let's chat about, oh, how do you get really good at the DISC profile? Want to know how? You ready?
Role
It's
playing.
so profound. What'd you say?
Role playing.
Almost.
With
But how do
different
you
type of
how do you get to master it? Well, one, you take your own DISC profile test and you learn everything about what you are. What is your leading, meaning I'm a high I. I am social and outgoing. If you can't tell, I'm social and outgoing. However, my adaptive is a D. I'm a high D. Like when the D comes out, we are direct and straight to the point, and I got no time for BS. Let's go. Make a decision. I'm faster. I'm more logical, but I can come across with low empathy, like a cold-hearted person. But I'm not. We're just high D mode. Like my mom is just a D. I don't think she has anything else. She's just a straight D. So you learn yours first, and you get really good at it. The second thing is, how are you good at role play? Because role playing was phenomenal answer. Ideally, since real estate is right now, especially being in a shift, we've essentially been in a 3-year recession, and the fact that you guys are here today tells me that you guys are in it to win it, right? In order to make sure that you guys have done a really good job with knowing to know how to role play with those people, you should have a minimum of 5 role play partners a week with 5 different people, because you need 5 different personalities. And you can even use ChatGPT in order to role play with a seller or a buyer as well. So that could be one of them. If you guys are looking for how to access role play partners, just send me a text with your info and I'll introduce you to my Flock chat. Oh, you know what? I could put the Flock chat in here. I have a chat that's just local, open to everybody. And from there, actually, if you just send me your info, I think I could put it in here. Let me just do copy, invite, link, copy link. All right, here's my WhatsApp chat too. That is a local WhatsApp chat, and I can help you find role play partners because everyone's always looking. Role play shouldn't take more than 15 minutes a day because we are in a skills-based business right now. So learn yours first, get really good at it, then you'll be able to adapt to know what somebody else is to match and mirror your conversation, okay? Let's go here. Hold on. Canva. Zoom, Canva. Okay. So I'm gonna do my best not to go too fast, but I'm sure you can keep up. All right. So what I want you to hear, actually, I don't want you to see all of that. How do I change that? Hold on, I'm gonna figure that out. Okay. High Ds, these are your drivers. We are direct, decisive, dominant. We value time and results. We challenge the status quo. We can be argumentative. We dislike repetition. I ain't got time for repetition. Like, do it or don't do it. Sometimes we move too fast that we ignore details. I know the other high Ds can relate. We take on too much at a time, often. We're fast and logical, low emotion, low empathy, lacks versatility. I'm not saying that you're not empathetic. When we have to make faster decisions and get straight to the point, we tend to come across as lower empathy and lower emotion, right? And I don't want to be versatile and bend over backwards for you because I already made a decision because I'm fast and logical. So how do you communicate with a driver when you're not a driver? Right? Because this is going to be your CEOs. This is going to be your high net worth individuals. This is going to be your doctors. This is going to be your high level entrepreneurs. Less chit chat. Like, don't give me the fluff. Think task and action and get to the point. Don't tell me stories. High logic, low emotion. Don't tell me about all the reasons and stay in victimhood because I'm not going to have a lot of empathy for you. Because either you take responsibility and do the task or you don't do it at all. Or I'm going to get somebody else to do it for you. If you disagree, focus on facts and not emotion. Talk about what, not how. Do not talk to me about how. Just talk about, to me, what are you going to do? The way that I'm delivering this message to you right now, can you tell that I'm in high D mode? right? I kind of sound like a bitch, but I'm not. Don't talk about why it won't work. Tell me how it's going to work and avoid talking about problems because I will see you as negative and I don't deal with energy vampires because I do not have time for it. When I operate at the level that I operate, I do not have time to sit here and listen to your negativity or your victimhood. I just want to know what you're going to do what you need to do, what you said you're going to do, and be on action. And do not make generalizations without coming to me with facts, right? So I'm sure that some of you guys can relate to this or know somebody who is a high D. Again, I'm a high I and a D under pressure. My high I's, we are gregarious, outspoken, spontaneous. We live on the edge. We're expressive. We tend to be the center of attention. We are always running around. There's always something to do. We have high emotion typically. We are vocal and animated because I'm not vocal and animated like at all, right? Like we're not. We're a natural salesperson. Hear me when I say this. Just because you are a natural salesperson does not mean that you are a great real estate agent. Sorry, not sorry. What do I mean by that? Because we're adaptable and relational, we're actually eternal optimists. We charm our way out of things because I've gotten out of like every ticket I've ever gotten. We can be manipulative, right? And so when we say natural salesperson, high I's are majority of the people in real estate or have a real estate license because we have that natural ability to talk to people. We love to talk to people. Yet we also have, including myself, we have the tendency to squirrel a lot. Like I'm talking to you and I'm like, oh wait, there's a squirrel over there. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, I'm back. Like there's shiny objects everywhere. High I's do not like mundane, boring tasks. This business is about following a schedule, a regimented schedule in order to truly be a top performer. So it's not about selling real estate, it's about following a schedule. And if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. So high I's, because we don't like doing the same thing day in and day out. And we just want to do what we want to do when we want to do it, because that's why we got our real estate license. Am I right? Yes, thank you. So know that you have an opportunity here to get stricter on your schedule. So if you're a high I, figure out how to better manage your time. You have to be very careful with your time because you have tons of other shiny objects and squirrels that will come at you and you will follow them. Learn to tone it down. You know, I really don't like toning things down because that's just who I am. Yet with different personality types, I have to tone it down, okay? When I am speaking to a high C or S especially, we are not speaking at this rate of speech at all. We are not speaking this quickly. We're not speaking with such firmness either. My tone tends to change a little bit more so I can make sure, do you understand everything that we just reviewed? And do you have any questions? Right? The tonality is going to change. The way that I'm going to handle them with care is going to change. So if you are not a high I and you're going to communicate with the influencer, you need to lighten up a little bit with them. Don't be so serious. Engage with them and keep them talking. They love to talk about themselves, right? Write this down. The person who talks the most dominates the conversation, and the person who asks the most questions controls the conversation. Do we want to dominate a conversation or do we want to control a conversation?
Control it.
Hell yeah, absolutely. So don't be boring and don't get into details. Oh, please hear me on this one. Include them always. Like I'm single with no kids. And so as a high I get really offended when all my friends that everybody my age, everybody has kids, that they don't invite me to the kids' birthday parties. Like I get it. I don't have kids, but like I still want to go. Or maybe I don't. I just want the opportunity to have the invite and feel included. And then I get sad when I don't get invited, even though I'm probably not going to go anyways. So with high I's, you need to really include them always, make them feel included. So with high I sellers, you want to make them part of the process. You want to be able to make sure you really know their dogs' names and cats' names and dogs' birthdays and cats' birthdays and kids' birthdays and kids' goals and what college they're going to. What is their opportunity? Are they looking for a job? Sometimes my listing appointment turns into doing scheduling a follow-up appointment to help the kids with doing their resume to get a job. Right? We don't just sell houses, we sell a lifestyle, period. All right. So how do we, and slow down and take a deep breath. That's always going to be a opportunity for a high I. High S's. This is your amiable people. They're steady and calm. They're supportive. They're warm. They're agreeable. They serve others. They're methodical. They have patience. High I's and high D's have a little bit of patience. We're slower communication pace. They value harmony. They're generous. They're really good at being flexible. So how do you communicate with somebody who is that high S? Is you got to show sincere interest in their interests. Don't force quick responses because remember, high S's are steady and dependable. These are the people that typically need somebody else to help them make a decision. These are the buyers that say that they need to go talk to their dad because their dad is the one that really helps them make the decision and dad needs to see it even if dad's not paying for it. Oh, and my best friend and my cousin need to see it too and be a part of the process because I really need to make sure I'm making the right decision. Because I'm not super confident because I don't want to make the wrong decision. Because I'm steady and calm and I'm methodical and patient. And I want to make sure that the decision I'm making is the right decision. So these are the people that you'll pretty much notice when they need to get validation or they need somebody else to validate what they're doing is going to be the next right best step. Make sense? Never interrupt them. They do not like it because they need to get out what they're going to say. High D's will just be cut off or high D's will cut them off. If you are a high D, you really need to make sure that you shut up when talking to a high S, especially, right? And look for hurt feelings and don't break promises with the high S because they are steady and dependable, remember? So you got to build and maintain their trust over time. And if you talk about too much conflict or gossip, they're going to lose the trust in you. And you got to show appreciation for their acts of kindness, right? If you are a high S, learn to say no more. Just so you're aware. Hey, guess what? If you didn't know this, no is a full sentence. Can you help me with this? No. No is a full sentence, okay? And you really need to work a little bit on increasing your pace or your rate of speech because sometimes you tend to be a little bit too calm. I need, especially my back end support and other things, I need my people to see my blind spots, my high S's and high C's. High C's are going to be especially like your transaction coordinators. Like you cannot have a successful transaction coordinator or a DOO, which is a director of operation or an executive assistant at a high level if they don't have a high C in them. In an S2 ideally, but they really need a high C in them or it's not going to work out, right? High C's are my arch enemy sometimes. They are detail oriented. They are perfectionists. They are analytical to the T. They're accurate and precise. I know, Andres, you're looking at yourself like, yes, I am all of these. They're systematic and procedural. So what does that mean? A high C, as a high I can say, okay, so here's the list A to Z of everything that we need to do. We're going to start at A, B, and then I'm going to go to S, and then I'm going to go to R, and then I'm going to go back to D, and then I'll go back down to X. And Andres is already having like breaking out in a sweat as a high C because he wants to follow procedure. They go A, B, C, D, E. Make sense? Like they are systematic, right? So for them, they have very high standards in sales, very high standards in sales, very low emotion because they're so focused typically on the task at hand. They fear change in fast moving situations. They're super punctual. If you're going to an appointment with a high C, like a strategic analyst, somebody in the technology field, somebody in the communications department, I have a guy, he wrote a book on systems for some business. You better go into an appointment with a high C with every freaking spreadsheet that you have possible on every analytics. Like really sexy spreadsheets. Okay. If you do not, you probably will not win the deal as a buyer or a seller. You will lose them. A high D, if you gave me a bunch of spreadsheets and graphs, I'm going to say, what does that say? Just tell me what it says. I don't care. Right? Doesn't matter. With a high I, maybe I'm going in with hot pink paper that smells good. Right? Because we're social and outgoing. So how do you communicate with the analytical? Well, be prepared as possible because details matter to them. And you cannot make a statement without having some evidence to back up what you're saying, because you better be only talking in facts and figures that have data to back it up. Because when we say that the house is 2,670 square feet and it's 2,673 square feet, you can't mess that up to a high C. So you need to really, really make sure that you are accurate. You cannot go on ranges. You have to be very precise, okay? Slow down rate of speech and tone down your enthusiasm. Let them explain even when you get it, because high Cs are analytical, and when they explain something, they have to process it and get it out. And you need to be quiet and listen. Even if you already get what they're saying, like your high D in you is like, all right, now I'll be honest. I have 3 team members that are high Cs, and I have 6 sellers that are high Cs, and they're all luxury price ranges. I want to blow my brains out. If I'm being real, like I literally want to blow my brains out. And the reason being is because they all want to talk about everything, like every detail. They need the roadmap. Everybody needs the roadmap. Everybody needs who, what, when, where, how, why, and 10 steps for each thing in order. And I can't go out of order, God forbid. Right. And so it's hard for me because I have to slow down my rate of speech. I have to tone down my enthusiasm. I have to listen to them, even though I already know that I know more than them and I already get what they're saying. And I just want to move on to my next, call or opportunity. And you can't, but it is what it is. It's not about how I communicate and what my style is. The whole point to be able to sell while you're here, and why this caption attracted you to come here, was how to sell to every personality style. Okay. So you have to reassure the high Cs constantly, and they fear criticism. So if you're going to criticize them, because they tend to be perfectionist, right? If you criticize them, you have to be a little more delicate with it. When I criticize a high C in a high D mode and not a high I mode, it doesn't usually go over very well. They tend to look at it like I'm not being rational, or I'm being cold, or whatever it is, right? So if you are a high C, get out of analysis paralysis. I have news for you. You don't have to know it all. You're not going to know it all, especially in this business. The only way you're going to be able to do more and have more and do what you desire to do is if you get out of analysis paralysis and realize the only way that you're going to learn more is by doing more. Make sense? Before I go further, somebody tell me something that you heard or learned about yourself, or somebody that you know and you're laughing. Not all at once. That was a high D. Nobody learned anything for the last 30 minutes? I'm gonna start calling them people. Marlene, I'm about to call Marlene. And Marlene's already laughing at me. She knew it. You're driving though. Don't crash, please.
Sorry, I'm driving here on the turnpike. I knew you were gonna call on me.
What did you hear? Give me one takeaway.
How I have to let the high Cs get their message out. And even though I already know where they're going with this, or I already heard the story, I gotta let them let it out. And it's hard sometimes, because sometimes, you're in the middle of tasks and the call was just to let them know the appraisal was scheduled or the inspection scheduled, and they want to have a full informative convo. So yeah, that's important. I agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, so for example, when she says like you're communicating to a high C and they want to know that the appraisal is coming up, I have videos for anything you need to repeat more than twice. So for example, when a seller goes under contract, I have a video that says, congratulations, we're under contract. Here's what's going to happen next, right? If you need to structure your conversations with clients, this is the best way to do it. It's going to be past, present, future. Here's what I've worked on. It has been accomplished. Here's what I'm working on right now. And the best words in sales and in sales and in communication is, and here's what is going to happen next.
You do that with a video? You don't email it? Like
It
you
could be
don't type
either in person. No, I usually do it. I have them all in videos, and they're all generic, because think about it. Every time we have an inspection or we
Right.
have a appraisal, it's the same conversation over and over and over again.
I should record something like that. I have a template that I send the buyer and a template that I send the seller that says, congrats, we're under contract. These are the next steps, da 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 da.
Yeah, perfect.
That's a great idea. Next time I have my content day, I'm gonna do that. That's a good idea to do a video.
Yeah,
Or
I would agree.
personalized.
I've used Loom for it, and I have different personalities type videos for different ones. So for example, this also applies to the personality type. Actually, I'll show you my screen really quick. So in Loom, this is one house I have some videos. So sellers, it says, let's get ready for appraisal. It's 5 minutes long. This says inspection period. It says D though. It's very short and to the point. So I'll just play like a second of it for you. And it's very much straight to the point. So, but it's a high D one, right? If it'll play.
In the gutters, or if there's any broken tiles, if I need to get a roofer over, feel a little bit nervous. So now we're at inspection period, and I know it can feel normal to feel a little bit nervous about what goes on during the inspection period. And understand that we've already prepared as much as we can. We've disclosed what we did on the seller's disclosure, and we're hoping.
So I have it based on different types of personality styles, but it's the same conversation for how to prepare for an appraisal or a home inspection or congrats, you're under contract. My one for non-high Ds is 8 minutes versus 4 minutes. The information is also legible inside the email. I have the same thing for sellers and showing agents. Anything that you need to repeat more than twice should be a video in a system, right? So you guys can leverage.
Amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long. Just take the process of what are the major points for the same conversation you have to have every single time. So the other thing that I want you to hear though is the DISC personality, the way that you write emails, send text messages, and leave voicemails is very important, okay? High D, what type of voicemail am I leaving to confirm meeting them on Friday at 2 o'clock?
Short and to the point.
Yes. Tara, I just wanted to confirm I'll see you Friday at 12 o'clock. I sent you the address. I sent you the calendar invite. Ideally, you sent them a calendar invite with the addresses because remember, they're high Ds. So they live by their schedule and their calendar. So if I am going to leave a voicemail for a high I, what does that look like? To confirm our showings for Friday.
Shorter and straight to the point.
More like personality. Hey, Natasha, it's Tara, your favorite realtor. Just wanted to call and tell you I'm so excited that we're going to be out showing homes. And also, you know, I prepared, I'm going to send you via email and text my favorite playlist for when we show homes too. So you can get in that energy and have that spirit in order to make sure that the day is going to be a win and we'll make the most of it. And don't worry, I'll have fresh refreshments for you too. See you Friday at 2 o'clock.
That's amazing.
Right? So hi C, it's going to be, hi, it's Tara. It's Friday at 1:15. I was calling because I'm looking forward to showing you those 3 houses in Coral Springs and Coconut Creek. And I sent you the calendar invite with the addresses. And what will happen next is when we meet, I have a list of all the properties in order of what we're going to see, as well as I sent you a link to them so you can also see them. And I have a handy dandy notebook for you to be able to write down any details or questions you have, and we will make the best of it. And I look forward to seeing you in 15 minutes to find you your dream home. Make sense?
Yes, love how you tailor it.
Yeah, well, I have studied the hell out of this. I would say once I mastered the DISC profile, my whole game changed. So I loved when Joey said he's a little bit of everything. We all are. We all have a little bit of everything. And the more in each level of success I hit, my C is creeping up because I'm getting more strategic and being more analytical. However, it just depends. Like you do adapt and change, but you're always going to have one dominant and another that's high adaptive. However, the goal is that you are like what Joey said, like if I had to go on an interview, even though I haven't been in like a 9-to-5 or corporate America in 10 years, and I would never go back because I'm dying a realtor, is that I would say if my best, when they ask you like, what's your best attribute? I would say I'm a chameleon. I'm a chameleon. I can literally adapt my personality. I'm not saying, please hear me, we're not being fake. We're just communicating and adapting our communication skills in order to communicate to them so that they hear us. Because write this down. Value is only value when appreciated. Value is only value when appreciated. My high C Andres over here might love his spreadsheets and that is valuable to him, but to a high D, I don't give a shit. I just don't care. But to Andres, it's valuable because he's a high C, right? To a high D, it's not. So maybe I'm bringing the spreadsheets because I want to make sure I have them and I'm prepared. And if you're a really great listing agent, you are prepared for all 4 personality styles at every single appointment. Because guess what? Is it fair to say that if the husband is a high D, that the wife is not? And you usually have to give more than one presentation at the exact same table to 2 different personality types? Exactly. So you have to be prepared, ideally, to have the same process. But hear me on this. The value is going to be what the value is for you to communicate based on the personality type that person is that you're adapting to, not that you're being fake to. What personality? Well, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Well, one, take this tip from me, please. When you guys are mastering the disc, I'm sorry, you're mastering the buyer presentation, which I believe, Kevin, am I doing a live listing presentation or a live buyer presentation again soon? Just drop those links in the chat.
I'll drop the link for your next virtual class and for your listing multiplier class is what we have coming up.
Oh yeah, I'm teaching you guys a listing multiplier, how to take 2 to 3 deals from every deal. So I typically only need to sell 15 homes because I'll sell 45 to 50 just by only listing 15. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. I call it squeeze the juice. I'm doing that one live at the Miami HQ. So he'll drop that chat. And I'm also doing a live listing presentation via Zoom, and he'll drop that link too. But understand this, if you're going to master how to give an effective buyer presentation and an effective listing presentation, and we do have videos of other classes I did, but if you guys want to hear from me more, you just have to request and give a great review, and then they'll bring me back more. And so you need to have 4 listing presentations and 4 buyer presentations. Why? I hear you. Tell me.
Different personality types.
Yep, different personality type. And again, when you're dealing with more than one person, especially when you got the dad and the husband and the wife, and and sometimes like I have an appointment coming up and they're a high S, and it's really important to them that their aunt is a part of the process. Well, the aunt lives in New York. I am waiting for auntie to come down. Like, I want to know that they're going to hire me today, even though they're not going to sell for 6 freaking months. I don't care. I still want to be the realtor of choice because then it gives me 6 months to build a relationship, find an off-market buyer, get additional 2 to 3 deals, have an off-market opportunity to add to my investor portfolio to other people, and to get 2 to 3 referrals from them in the meantime, right? So, what I'm doing is I've done this many times before. We have the presentation, and I'm bringing my iPad with a stand, and I'm putting the aunt on Zoom on the table with us on video. Auntie's here. Now I don't got to go to the presentation because there'll be 2 qualifying questions that you're asking before a presentation. 1, will all the decision makers be present when I come over? Oh yeah, me and my wife will be there. Is there anyone else's opinion that you value that comes to when making a decision on handling one of your largest investments in life? Is there anybody else besides the other decision maker that you just described that you would like to have their opinion? Because it's not just the decision maker. Sometimes high S's, they really value somebody else. Makes sense? So you can find a way. Because I don't want to go to that appointment and then they say, oh, we got to talk about it. And then we got to call my aunt and talk to her. Now I just left with a whole gap of an opportunity to lose the appointment or to lose the deal. Right? So asking those questions in advance will help you cater. My last question, I was 6 minutes late. So I will go over 6 minutes late because I owe you back that time. And that's just being in integrity. And let me ask you a question. What personality style do you leave emails and text messages with emojis?
Social.
Yes, high eyes. High eyes love that. I love emojis. You could always tell based on how they write their Facebook posts too, or how they write text or email or anything else, and you can adapt it that way to be able to. I also have ChatGPT cater based on this. Turn this message into a high D response. Turn this presentation into a high I presentation using the DISC personality profile. Another thing I would suggest is my dear friend of mine, Phil Jones. He wrote a book, Exactly What to Say, with a different edition for real estate agents. And the words that we use really matter. So for example, we're trained to not use the words but or try. And so for example, there's ways that he has changed the language, like in the first chapter, when you read it, it says to, especially to people that are indecisive, this works every single time. Every time when the buyer's like not sure and blah, 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 you say, hey, I just came across this deal and it may not be for you, but whoa, 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 whoa. What do you mean it may not be for me? Like, tell me about it. I want to decide if it's for me or not. That is an example where I would use a communication style for the word but for them to hear me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because that creates curiosity. It creates curiosity for them to want to know what is it that you're seeing or you're gonna be showing them.
Absolutely. I have buyers right now, or sellers right now, because I'm 98.2% sellers, that I gave them a third offer, cash up to over $1 million, and they still won't accept it. So I finally got another cash offer yesterday. I said, I'm sure you probably don't want to know about the other offer that came in, right? Because you're just going to counter it too high anyways. So it's not no point for me to tell you about it, right? You don't care. They were like, what? Wait, no, tell me. Okay. So Irina is absolutely right. It's hard to communicate because you have more personality and they are more analytical. So you really need to learn down and tone it down and let them process through their conversations, and you'll learn to communicate a little bit better for the most part. Thank you, Martha. I appreciate you. Thank you, Joey. My buyer presentation, there's a recording of it. Yeah, high C, if he's an I and she's a high C, that's where like you could have pretty presentations that maybe that high I will actually appreciate, like color coded and things like that the high C and the high I at the exact same time would appreciate that. The books that I gave you were 7 Levels of Communication and also Exactly What to Say, but for Real Estate Agents edition by Phil Jones. I've been a coach and trainer for 7 Levels for 7 years, I believe. It's kind of ironic.
You also have the role playing cards, I think.
Yep. Oh yeah, the role play cards he has are really, really good too. All right, that is all I basically got for you guys. Do you have any questions for me? Now is your time.
Will you
If
be
not,
sharing materials after we log out? Or
yeah,
that
I
has to
can.
do with what we went over?
The video
Kevin,
will be on YouTube as always.
Awesome.
Okay. And if you message me or if you join the Flock chat that I put in the chat, and then or if you text me as well, I can also send you the slides that are there. And then also, I always love to support you guys. So if you want to also both of us to grow our social media together, you can follow me on Instagram because I share a lot of things there too. If you desire, if there's no other purging questions, you can raise your digital hand and I can give you some gems for each personality style to help you have better conversations to finish up our last 3 minutes. Sound good? Okay. If you do have a question, just raise your digital hand, please. Let me just give you, so for high, what did I say? High S's? No, high D's. So the high D's, like, we already know the high D's. If you are a high D, you want the bottom line, you hate wasted time, you decide fast and move on. So language to use with high D, write these down, would be like, what's the goal? What's your goal? Here are the two options. Option 1 is this, option 2 is this. Which one would you prefer to do? Here's the timeline. If you over-explain to a D, you will lose them, period. They're gone. High I is, since they're like, they buy emotionally and they bring the energy and they think out loud, like, ask, like, especially as high I's, how many of you talk with your hands? Like, I have not talked with my hands. Like, so how do you use, what would be some language we use with a high I? Imagine this. Let me tell you a quick story. Hey, Marlene, what excites you most? Tell me more about that. Because they like talk about themselves, right? If you dated dump on an I, they check out. Like if you go on these long tangents, like they're going to check out. The high S though, since the high S's are like the loyal and they value relationships and they hate pressure more than anything. The language that we would use is, we'll take this step by step. I've got you through this. We're going to get through this together. Now that we've gone over everything, how does this feel? Did you notice how much my tonality changed for the upswings and the downswings and my rate of speech automatically? That's how conditioned I am. Actually, that wasn't even like, I didn't even try to do that. That's just what happens. And then we go back to high I and we're fast and fast. And then the high C's, because they value that accuracy, like, and the high C's ask great questions and they also just hate being wrong. Right. So, for the most part, questions that you could say to them to engage them better for language to use could be like, here's the process and here's step 1. Here's the data that I have found based on the information that we had discussed. And here's what's happening on a national level. Here's what's happening at a state level. Here's what's happening in a county level. Here's what's happening in your zip code. Here's what's happening in your neighborhood. And here's what's happening on your street. And this is what it means for you and your home. What questions do you have? Is there anything that I didn't cover that I should have covered that was important to you? Make sense? So I will leave you with this. Now it'll make more sense. Care like everyone's an S, steady and dependable. Remember, they value harmony. Smile like everyone's an I. Prepare like everyone's a C, analytical. And sell like everyone's a damn D. Got it? I hope this was of value to you. I enjoyed flamingoing with you. Leave a review, please. And then if you'd like me to come back, my goal is to pour more into our board as well as an elected board member. And he has the links for the others. And I look forward to flamingoing with you. And if you followed me on social media, I will make sure to follow you back. If you sent me a friend request on Facebook, it's never going to get answered. You might as well just push the follow button because it's not happening. But I love you. It's not my fault. All right. I appreciate you guys. Have the best day ever. Go crush it. If you have questions about the DISC profile, you're curious about something, you wanted to give feedback, reach out to me. I'm an open book if you can't tell. Okay. Love you.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm going to be on my laptop.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I have a full purse. I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm eating before I leave.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm looking out for show.
We're YPN leaders.
Of course we're going to be creating content.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm signing up for classes.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm Cafecito obsessed.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm gonna crash the next happy hour.
If I find my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me.